Follow up on the bold FAQ predictions from last week. Now that Juice is back from Nova with a little bit more intel. Is the FAQ prediction going to get even bolder, Juice?
Gosh, I want to say yes, but simultaneously, like, I just have some almost boots on the ground facts that are just going to happen. Things are going to change. The invitation was a major change compared to what the Open played. Yes. I mean, just real quick, we talk about this all the time. Matter of fact, this came up on air by one of our amazing friends, on chat brought this up. When you go to declare a target in the shooting phase, you, step one, declare what unit you're shooting with. Step two, pick an enemy target. Step three, pick weapons. Well, if you're going to rotate your iron shield, if you're going to use lightning fast reflex, if you're going to use anything else that either affects these shooting, I will know that knowledge before I choose a weapon.
Yep. Those stratagems say when selected as a target. You're not required to divulge what guns are going where until step 3 after selecting target or targets.
Yep. And then so I actually, round 2 of the Invitational, had to point this out to Credis, right? He's like, no, that's not how it is. I was like, well, absolutely. In the main rule book that you wrote in the shooting phase, it says step 1, step 2, step 3. And he kind of took a step back from the table and we came back, and he never actually made a ruling one way or the other. I just did it, what I was doing. Let me tell you what got FAQ'd as per Nova, as for the people who wrote the rules for the rest of the Open tournament. You had to declare your weapon, and then the opponent got to, do their targets.
That's not what the rules say.
That's not what the rules say, but I'm here to tell you, if Credis actually made that ruling, then let me tell you what's going to be coming up in the GWFAQ. Another thing, these are all just not even necessarily bold. These are just my the realities of that happened to me while I was playing in the Invitational. On stream versus an amazing individual, Matt Shugman. I have a lot to say about him a little bit later. I end up moving a Bang Guineas, a shield captain, right, Blood Angel shield captain, on top of a billion-inch tall building, right? All I had to do was make a 2-inch charge, even though I was 11 inches from the opponent. I only had to make a 2-inch charge.
Vertical distance, yeah.
Let me tell you what, Robbie B.
Juice, real quick, before you conclude the story, let's just break down why. Because your Slam Guineas has the fly keyword. You were on a building that was 11 inches vertically from the target unit, and we've had an FAQ. We know how fly works. Fly ignores the vertical distance when moving horizontally. So therefore, you were only 2 inches away for your charge, even though vertically you were 11 inches.
Correct. So when measuring vertical distances, that is enemy models, you have to be 9 inches from base to base. We're not saying within the same unit because they have a 6-inch unit coherency when it comes to a ruin. So as per the rules in the new FAQ, especially, it says that when you are on a ruin or any vertical distances, if you have the fly keyword, you get to ignore the vertical distance for your movement, not for any other purpose. So for all intents and purposes, I was 11 inches from my opponent vertically, but when I went to charge him, I only had to roll a 2.
What happened with the GW?
As per the so that happened on stream. Let me tell you, the next day of the Open, right after they announced pairings on round 1, everyone said that those ruins, those tall buildings and everything else are 100% impassable. So if that's not a quick patch fix on how they realized, you can't, GW sometimes makes rulings not understanding how abusive things are. That isn't an absolute abusive thing. We talked about it right away. You can't just ignore inches. You can't just this. And Credis saw it live on camera right in front of his face. So it's funny that I saw that change. Bold prediction. You ready? I've got one ready. Mike Haspel, I know I told you this earlier. there were Castellan knights and Knight Titans everywhere. You actually couldn't look around, and every 2 tables that were connected, there's a Castellan guaranteed almost on every one of those 2 tables.
Yeah,
it was unbelievable.
That blows me away.
It was unbelievable. It was actually, I saw more Knights and Castellans than I saw Storm Ravens at ATC 2 years ago. I mean, this is to the level that we're at, right?
Wow.
Bold prediction: the Castellan doesn't change, not one nan bit.
No, because traditionally, like what we've seen with problem combos, and like Magic, they generally don't get rid of the end game thing, the thing that the kill condition, so to speak. They get rid of the parts of the combo that make the kill condition impossible to interact with. So you need to isolate in those lists what is making the kill condition, which in a lot of cases you could argue is the Castellan or the Banginius is.
To quote Sean Naden, actually, when he was on, I didn't mean to cut, but Sean Naden literally said, because when you weren't on the show and you were traveling to Nova, we had Sean on, and we basically broke down Tony's list from ETC, the Castellan, Guard Brigade, Slam Captain Battalion as the best list of 40K.
Tony Kopak, by the way, there's a lot of Tonys.
Tony Kopak. So we broke it down as the best list of 40K. He called it the standard bearer.
Not cheater.
It's the standard bearer 40K list. Like, it is the gatekeeper. There are so many things that are now, if I can't beat a Castellan, I can't play. Right. So it's a good thing and a bad thing. That's my point, is that you're right. It keeps the Magnus Terran at bay. It keeps these other builds at bay. But when you look into a room and now the meta is half the room just plays a version of that list with AM, Knights, some insert any other Imperium, that's when you're like, it's not the gatekeeper anymore. It is the standard. So like, now to deal with the standard, you play the standard. And so that's where like, as much as I'm into your bold FAQ prediction, I feel like it is exactly in the category of something has to get fixed. Because not necessarily because it's so OP, but because it's diversity is not just an old wooden ship.